This video is for the ultimate bracket installation and pro bracket installation. Just like in the original video, you're going to install everything like you're supposed to. You're even going to install your trailing arm and drill your hole for your bolt and your nut. The only addition is going to be that you should weld your nut on here before you start to cage everything in. Once you get everything welded in, welding along here, welding along here, welding along here, and welding up here. Same on your rocker. Weld as much as possible that's still there. You don't have to plug every single one of these holes with weld, but they're there just in case you do. They're there for extra safety and extra rigidity and longevity to the parts. Now you're going to install your trailing arm. You're going to set the pressure down to where it's ride height, drill your hole, put your nut on. Then you're going to take your trailing arm back out. Then you can weld in all of your boxes. Now you need to consider if you're going to try to reach your hand up back here to put that nut on, or if you weld it on before you start installing your frame box work that I'm going to show you in this video. So this is what your brackets should look like when they're inserted. The idea is for this lip to be trapped up underneath this lip. That locks it in there. If you need to remove it, you take a screwdriver, you stick it in here, hammer it back. I don't think you would need to remove it once you install it, but that's the idea of how it's supposed to work. It should go up close to there. It can be 1/8 of an inch off or something like that. This is metal, people. You can do pretty much anything you want, and you can make this work up until you drill that hole. Once you drill that hole, that's a point of no going back. As far as the ultimate version and the pro version goes, you're not going to put any of these brackets on until this is completely inserted, welded down. And the first time I did it, I had to get up underneath here with the wrench and put the nut on because I welded all of this together. I know it seems kind of dumb, but yes, I'm kind of dumb at times too. For your box end brackets, these weld to your actual bracket that goes here. They're not intended to be welded on the floor. That's where you would put your epoxy. Obviously, this is pretty much thin as crap, so welding it to the floor is probably not ideal. We try to weld where there's double areas here so it can penetrate into it. And do as little bit of welding to this thinner metal as possible. That's why we got the holes through here. Now, me personally, I'll install my trailing arm, I'll drill my hole, I'll weld my nut, then I'll take my trailing arm back out and I'll do all of my finish work, weld this down, and be done. Weld this down, weld this down. Obviously, we can weld this on the absolute last part. As far as this goes, this lays in here, obviously welds up against here. You could not have this on here. This allows that if this is all eaten away, for you to drop this, raise and lower the bracket. Now, I haven't installed all of these on every single make and model, so I don't know what could be affixed to the frame right here. And the idea behind all of these holes is to give you some extra added benefit to doing this. Obviously, you're going to need to clean up all of the areas. This is designed to fit up in here like this, but it really doesn't matter how you do it. It's just metal. You can do anything that you want. You do not have to weld in every single hole as a measure to actually give you more rigidity, add more spots to weld. If you're not going to weld them up, you just fill them up with the epoxy. You're good to go. You can add on to this to continue your frame if it's rotted out, whatever. By the way, for being a purchaser, if you want, it's kind of cool. You can share your work with me and I'll share it with my community. You know, any ideas, negativity, I always like positivity, but if you have to say something negative, you have to say something negative. I'm kind of a goof. I don't know already. The only thing that supersedes my ingeniousness is my serious incompetence. But I always say, work with what you got. If anyone else can do it, you can do it too. You've probably heard this a dozen times already from me, but I really do appreciate you folks greatly so much for purchasing from me. Me and my family greatly appreciate it. It's going to help us continue the channel, be able to grow, and all of that stuff. God bless you folks. Remember, you're helping millions of other people as well, not only yourself. Thank you so much. Have a greatest of days.